it's Ash from Super Videos, back for another video for Season 9 of The Walking Dead. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the conflict between Alexandria and Hilltop and the possibility of a civil war breaking out during the time jump that we had, which was 6 years. Of course, 6 years is a long time. A lot could have happened during that time. And based on everything we know up to this point, it's safe to assume that something must have happened between not only Hilltop and Alexandria, but maybe even other communities, such as Kingdom and even Oceanside, that basically triggered this major large-scale conflict between the communities. And we're at a point now where Alexandrians, especially Michonne, are being treated as the enemy and as the outsider, which is very interesting. Now, even though I am saying there could have been a civil war, I don't think it was a physical civil war that happened. I don't think it was anything like the war with Negan and the Saviors or any internal kind of war. I think this was more a psychological war rather than a physical war. But I definitely do think that something must have happened that caused this. Whatever happened, I don't think that it's just about the Hilltop as a community or Alexandria as a community or even Maggie or Tara or someone like that as an individual. I think this is about Michonne herself and the decisions that she may have made during the time jump that triggered all of this hostility between the communities. And that's even supported by the conversation Carol and Michonne had in the last episode, where we had Michonne saying that my decisions caused everything that's happening. You know, it's all based on one pivotal decision that I made, or maybe several pivotal decisions. But whatever the case may be, I think it's all about Michonne. It's not about just the individual communities. It's about Michonne and her decisions. Now, I think based on what Carol told Michonne and how uncomfortable she was being there, seeing Michonne, I think what could have happened is maybe Carol or maybe the entire Kingdom community didn't want to have any part in whatever conflict was between the two communities, Alexandria and Hilltop, and they just wanted to stay out of it. And they didn't want to kind of choose who to side with. Of course, Carol is very close to Maggie. She's also very close to Michonne. So I think maybe for that respect or for that love that she has for Maggie and Michonne, and maybe for the respect that she has for Rick and the fact that she wants to honor him, that's what caused her to kind of want to stay out of it. And maybe she even not forced but pushed the Kingdom as a whole to stay out of whatever conflict these two communities were facing. So I think whatever conflict, whatever tension, whatever hostility was caused is due to the decisions that Michonne may have made during the time jump. What were those decisions? We don't know. We definitely will know those answers in the second half. And there's definitely a lot of hints for that. Now, before I talk about that, I briefly want to talk about Maggie herself. Let's actually backtrack. Let's go back to the moment before the time jump when Maggie made the decision not to kill Negan. Right there in front of the cell. Michonne gave her the keys, and in a way that showed that Michonne was accepting of whatever decision Maggie made, and she just stepped away. Maggie went in, confronted Negan, and that whole scene ended with Maggie deciding that Negan is suffering more by just being in the cell than by Maggie killing him. So, in a way, then, that means that maybe Maggie, at that point, may have accepted Rick's decision not to kill Negan in the finale of Season 8 after the war. And maybe at that point, it was the moment when Maggie saw Rick's vision. But the point I'm trying to make is that everything was good between Maggie and Michonne. There was this mutual respect, mutual understanding about whatever happened. Even after that point, when we have Rick disappearing or quote-unquote dying, Maggie and Michonne are both shocked. They're devastated by that. And maybe that death, in a way, made them even closer together than they were before. Maggie may blame herself though for what happened to Rick because of the decision she made, because she wanted to go and kill Negan. And she may think, and she's probably right, that had a lot to do with why Rick was in that situation in the first place. So there could be some blame from Maggie on herself, but maybe Michonne also blames Maggie. So that could have been the trigger of that conflict, but I don't think it's enough for it to lead to this psychological warfare or civil war between the two communities. But even if that is what happened, if that is the trigger for it, I think that it's not the only thing, because I do think it's centered on Michonne. Everything is about Michonne's decisions, like I said. So this blame might have actually pushed Maggie to want to go out and just leave and just get away from everything. Now we know Maggie left with baby Herschel to wherever Georgie is to help her build her community. But I think that that's just an excuse. I think what happened to Rick and Maggie blaming herself for what happened to Rick caused or triggered Maggie to just want to go out and be by herself. And it's even the same kind of scenario with Daryl. He went out and is living in the wilderness because he blames himself for Rick's death a little bit as well. But the fact of the matter is that Maggie's decision to want to leave must have been for something substantial, like blaming herself for Rick's death. Because why would someone just want to leave this community that she has basically built from scratch in a way? And, why would she just want to get away from that? Of course, the Hilltop was there before, but I think the Hilltop that's there today owes what it has to Maggie. So why would Maggie want to leave this community behind? It must be for something substantial. And I think Rick's death and the fact that Maggie blames herself must have something to do with that as well. But going back to the discussion we were having about the hostility between the two communities, I think maybe Maggie might not have been part of that. Maybe she left before that happened. We know Michonne didn't know Maggie even left until recently. So it's also possible that this is not about Maggie at all. It's all about Michonne and her decision. So that's very interesting. Now, we also have to take into consideration the X marks or the scars on both Michonne and Daryl, because I think that those are definitely connected to this as well. Now, I will do a standalone video on that where I will dive deeper into that discussion, but I think that whatever those scars are, they definitely have to be linked to this conflict somehow. Now, I will actually talk about 3 solid hints that we have that lead us to believe that we will get some answers about this conflict in the second half of the season. The first hint is that Angela Kang, the showrunner, said that it's a strong possibility that we will have those answers in the second half. So I guess I don't even need any more solid hints because that's enough. But I will give you the other 2 hints. The second hint is that Tom Payne, who of course plays Jesus, was doing an interview recently after his departure from the show where he was talking about the fact that Jesus' story is done in this timeline that we have. But it's possible that he could come back in the second half through flashbacks or, seeing him during the time jump that happened. So that makes us see that possibly we will see a flashback of the time jump. And if they're going to do a flashback of the time jump, it makes no sense for them not to have the flashback be about the conflict. So it has to be, in a way. The third hint is that in the trailer for the second half, there is a scene where Michonne is very angry, pissed off, and maybe devastated, and she's just killing someone with a katana. And she has blood on her face and everything, but it's the Michonne from the time jump. It's not the new Michonne that we are seeing. It's the Michonne from the time jump that we had. So it's an old Michonne. So I think it's very, very likely that that scene is the pivotal decision that Michonne made that got us to this point. So I think we will have that answer. Now, there are definitely a lot of theories about what that could have been. Could she have possibly executed all of the Oceanside for what they did to the Saviors that caused everything in a way that led to Rick's death. That's possible, but in a way, if that was the case, then I don't think it would be a psychological war. I think it would have been a real war. But also, I think it was mentioned that the Oceanside are living by themselves in another separate location. So they may have been exiled. Definitely, that could be part of the decisions that Michonne could have made. But I don't think that she killed the Oceanside. It doesn't really make sense. But with that said, if we take a look at the flashback scene, in the background, it seems like that's the exact same elementary school that was the original camp of the Oceanside. And it's the exact location where Cindy and the other Oceanside members executed Rot, the last member of the Saviors, other than Negan. But she definitely does kill someone in that scene, which is very interesting. I'm very excited to see what that's all about. But these 3 hints are making it more and more likely that we will get more answers in the second half. That's everything I wanted to discuss in this video. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video. If you like what you see, press like, subscribe for more content, and press the bell button to receive notifications for daily uploads. Like and follow the Facebook page of this channel to join our community. And check out the upload schedule to learn more about daily uploads.